you. Thank you, Diane. Firstly, I would like to thank Farming Smarter for hosting this amazing event and supporting 4-H and this wonderful opportunity. Our first two speakers today are BOEDEN and TAIYA Nickel. They're doing a joint presentation. They are 11 and 15 years old, respectively, third and second year in the Wild and Woolly 4-H Club with yearling ewe projects and market lamb projects. They both love 4-H and are very happy to be here. Their presentation title is All Geared Up, BOEDEN and TAIYA Nickel.
I'm sure you've heard of the expression fast and furious. Well, to us, that means wind in your face, hair flying, and feeling free. You may be thinking of Secretariat the racehorse, a Lamborghini, or a rocket ship, but to us, it's dirt biking, so you better get all geared up. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Living in the country comes with its ups and downs, but being able to ride dirt bikes in your own backyard is definitely a positive for us. Some of you may be thinking, that's just an injury waiting to happen. And we have had our fair share of accidents. But to us, there are many great things that come with dirt biking. A few of these include spending time with family and friends, learning new skills, and having fun adventures.
My favorite's mud bogging.
Who here wouldn't love that? Unfortunately, not all of our dirt biking has been all fun times, especially when we first started riding. Sometimes we think it's a miracle we're even alive.
Let us tell you about some of our life-threatening experiences. One day, when I was much younger and was ready to tackle learning to ride, my older brother Carter decided to teach me the ropes, with me on the back. With him being 2 years older, way more experienced, and a little reckless, he decided to add a little adventure and teach me a few tricks. He gave it full throttle on our little Yamaha, going faster and faster.
They were ripping.
Next thing I knew, we were headed straight for the swing set. Obviously, I couldn't do anything about it. I was just on for the ride. Even though he may have been trying to teach me some cool new tricks and skillful steering, we ended up with our handlebars tied up in the swing set and the front of the bike going up to the sky on its way to do a flip. As for Carter and I, we also tried out our flipping skills, which ended up with me on the ground, Carter with a painful land on me, and the bike landing on Carter to top it off.
I'm guessing a few of you have had your own experiences of wrecks running through your mind. Well, if you think TAIYA's wreck was bad, just wait till you hear mine. I think I should become a pilot because I've spent so much time in the air and so much practice flying right off my bike, I could be a pro. Let me tell you about one of these times. One day when I was 5 years old, I was trying to keep up with my older siblings, so I jumped on the dirt bike, determined to learn to ride. After a few days of practice, I was starting to get the hang of it and was dying to pick up speed.
He was ripping.
I was practicing swerving in between two large rocks, about the size of me. Any guesses on what happened next? I ended up doing a head-on collision with the rock. I guess I should have learned how to turn first. As you can see, we've had a lot to learn about dirt biking.
These are just a few of our wrecks, and surprisingly, we haven't even made one trip to the hospital yet. That must be because of all of our good dirt biking gear, which we are going to show you about now, so hopefully you can avoid these dangers from happening to you while you're biking. With a dangerous sport like this, you really do need gear from head to toe. Let's start with the toe. Dirt biking boots aren't just any ordinary boot. These boots are not only made to protect your feet, but your ankles and lower legs too. When you skid out or take a spill, these boots will help take the impact of the crash and prevent scrapes or breaks. They also help you grip the pedals and shift easier.
Next comes the pants. If you are just starting out dirt biking, you can use jeans, but dirt biking pants definitely add more protection. I learned this the hard way and still have a scar to prove it. One day, when I was about 6 years old, I was riding in a yard shortly after it rained, and the grass was very slippery. It sure is fun riding in the mud, but it's hard to stay in control. At least this was my experience. Rain has never stopped me from going fast, and this day was no different. I zoomed around the corner and down with the bike falling right on top of me. That wasn't the worst part of it all. My leg was caught underneath the boiling hot engine. My leg felt like it was on fire. With me being a little guy and definitely not having as much muscles as I do now, the bike was there to stay until Dad came running to my rescue. This might not have happened, or at least not as bad, if I had dirt biking pants for protection.
Next come the gloves. The gloves mostly give the same protection as pants, protecting your hands from scrapes, cuts, or other road rash. They also help you grip the handlebars. The next really important piece of equipment that we'll talk about today is the chest protector. The name says it all. It's there to protect your chest, shoulders, and everything inside you. Next comes the jersey. Mostly, the jersey is just a fashion choice, and it's all about the color and style. It also helps protect your everyday clothes from the dirt and mud, and also protects you from flying rocks and road rash. Remember how I said I love mud bogging? The next piece of equipment comes in really handy for this. It's goggles. Goggles help keep your eyes safe from dirt, mud, rocks, bugs, or even tree branches.
Now we are to the last and most important piece of equipment. Any guesses? In our opinion, it's the helmet. Helmets can also be flashy and stylish, but the real purpose is for safety.
It sure came in handy when I clotheslined myself by the trampoline.
Most dirt biking helmets have a visor. It's pretty important to be able to see while dirt biking, and a visor helps make this easier by keeping the sun out of your eyes. Most importantly, helmets prevent brain injury or death. Helmets save lives. Let's review safety gear for a dirt bike. Wear dirt biking boots to protect your legs and feet. Wear dirt biking pants to avoid scars like mine from burns. And gloves to prevent road rash.
Don't forget your chest protector, helmet, or goggles, and most importantly, your helmet for any run-ins with swings, rocks, trampolines, or any other head-on collisions. You can also look awesome in your flashy, stylish jersey. So we hope you've learned a little bit about keeping safety first while dirt biking, and let our experiences be a lesson and reminder to you to get
all geared up. That concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bowen and TAIYA. That was very informative. I would just like to remind the audience at this time to please pick up and pay for their silent auction items. Our next speaker is Lucy Wolf. She is 11 years old. In her 3rd year of the Del Bonita Club, she has horse, sheep, and foods program. And her speech title is A Girl and Her Sheep, A Girl and Her Sheep, Lucy Wolf.
Green hills spotted with wildflowers, my sheep running, jumping towards me, buying with happiness. That's a myth, except for the buying and jumping part. That's real. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am a girl who has sheep, and hills, and flowers. This is what I thought 4-H sheep was going to be like. It did not turn out as planned. I'm going to bust some of the myths I had raising my 4-H lamb. I thought we were going to be best friends. My lamb would follow me everywhere. Myth 1, in the beginning, my sheep's name was Garby. It soon changed to MHP. It stands for mental health problems. At first it was because he had mental health problems. Then I realized he was giving me mental health problems. My sister's sheep was perfect. It would follow her around. Mine, no way. My sister would have to rope my sheep to even get its halter on. After we got its halter on, I'd just have to drag it around. One day, I was holding my sheep on the end of the line, sitting on a swing. A bee started buzzing. A jump, the sheep was sitting right on top of me. It hurt so much. MHP did not like being touched. at all. He wouldn't even let me touch him. I watched the first class at the shown sale. The judges would walk up and touch a sheep. Not just a gentle touch. They'd grab your sheep and give it a good old back massage, and down the legs they go. The first touch, MHP did not like that. He started jumping and lunging at me, almost knocking me over. But all of the lunging did pay off. He ended up winning grand champion in the entire show, all because he was nuts. I thought it'd be easy and fun keeping my sheep looking spiffy. Myth 2. Good looks take a lot. I mean, a lot of work. People might think sheep are white, but no, they are gray from dirt. I think they like it this way. Sheep do not like being bathed at all. It was a lot of work and a lot of bruises. Even Ellie's sheep, the nice one, didn't like it. Vicky is a really smart girl. She came to teach us how to groom and bathe our sheep. I just kept thinking I'd never be able to watch TV again. If you see a white sheep, it's because their owner has no life other than making that sheep look spiffy. I thought selling my sheep for meat was going to be the worst thing ever. I almost didn't want to do the 4-H project, but because of this. Myth 3. Our sheep at home are for wool, and that is it. But these are some things that helped me get through the 4-H year. For 1, he was not the best friend kind of type. 2, I try not to think about it. 3, I helped other people, so I distracted. 4, I was super annoyed that he ate my grand champion ribbon, like literally chewed a piece off. It might sound like it was hard, and it was. It might sound like I didn't like it. Sometimes I didn't. But I loved hanging out in the barn with my sister. I loved the show and sale. I loved that Vicky came to help me. And I love thinking about all the crazy things MHP did. I can't wait to do this another year, but hopefully I'll be a little bit smarter.
Thank you, Lucy. That was lovely. Our next speaker is Justin Schooning. He is 15 years old in his 7th year of 4-H in the Foothills 4-H Beef Club. His projects this year include a breeder's herd and a steer project. His speech title is The Third Rock. The Third Rock, Justin Schooning.
When you Google rock, the first thing that comes up is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a wrestler turned actor who is now one of the most commonly known faces in America. The second link is to quote Wikipedia, "Rocks, a natural stone substance," end quote. The third rock is by far the coolest. Yeah, that's right, even cooler than the guy who starred in the Baywatch movie. I'm talking about rock and roll. Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson, friends and family, and all my fellow farmers. Some of you probably already know that a couple of years ago, I started to learn to play the guitar. As I got better at guitar, I slowly grew more and more attached to rock and roll. And now, I'm at the point where almost everything I listen to is classic rock, including Bon Jovi, Live, and especially AC/DC. People talk about rock being the devil's music and how it will rot your brains, but whether or not you like it, rock and roll is one of the most influential factors in our culture. Nobody can say for sure who started rock and roll as we know it, but many, myself included, give that credit to Chuck Berry. Berry first played professionally in 1953 with the Johnny Johnson Trio, a band that was at the time not well known. He was pulled in off the street one night when their original guitarist got sick last minute and couldn't play. Berry did so well that when the original guitarist died a few weeks later, he was set as a permanent addition to the trio. Talk about a stroke of luck. Not so much for the original guy. When Berry got signed into a solo contract, the rest of the band became his band. Barry loved country music and mixed blues and country, which gave him his signature guitar riffs while still maintaining the bluesy feel. As he made more music, he became bolder, straying away from the standard blues format, adding solo guitar intros, such as with Johnny B. Goode. He was also one of the first artists to use a guitar solo in the middle of his piece, an aspect of rock we now know to be almost necessary. Chuck Berry practically created rock and roll as we know it, and is one of the best guitarists the world has ever seen. To this day, over 50 years later, his guitar part for Johnny B. Goode is still on every single top guitar solo list on the internet. Not only is that a huge accomplishment in the world of music, but do you know how hard it is to get everyone on the internet to agree on something? Chuck played and recorded music until the day he died on March 18th, 2017 at age 90. He was buried with his cherry red Gibson ES 335 guitar bolted to the lid of his coffin. Speaking of extremely influential people, Elvis Presley was another big name in rock. Known as the King of Rock and Roll, Elvis, much like Chuck, combined country and blues to create the first rock and roll sound. July 17th, 1954 was Elvis's debut. At the time, he was also part of a trio, a new band with a new sound. In one of his first ever performances, Elvis got so nervous that his legs started shaking while he was on the stage. This made the crowd, especially the girls, go wild, which in turn pumped him up even more. DJ Fontana joined in 1955, bringing the drums with him. After the band's first show with Fontana, Elvis needed a new guitar. The clerk generously gave Elvis $8 whole for his old beat-up kid-sized guitar, then threw it in the trash while Elvis was still at the counter. Elvis's first label was a big shot in the country world, but couldn't get Elvis on many radio stations because of the blues mix. By the time Elvis turned 20, however, he had multiple major labeling companies offering him contracts up to $40,000. Elvis was not an amazing guitarist like Chuck Berry, but he mixed incredible vocals along with his lead rhythm guitar. This, with added guitar pickings in the background, gave Elvis's music a quality that was similar to blues and country, but different at the same time. It was rock. Those two men are generally known as the pioneers of rock and roll, but now I think we need to look at the present. Metallica was the most popular rock band in 2017, according to spin.com. According to the website Metal Injection, not only were they the most popular band in 2017, but they also sold more albums than any other band in 2016. 1 year alone would be impressive, but 2 in a row, that's amazing. The most hated band in the world, on the other hand, is, bet you can't guess it, yeah, that's right, Nickelback is still the #1 most hated band in the world, according to every website I looked at. And believe me, as a Nickelback fan, I looked for a long time. So there you go. It's almost everything I know about the third rock, from the original founders to the bestseller of 2017. Normal people want to be famous, but the famous people want to be rock stars. And in the words of every great rock star ever, thank you and good night.
Thank you to all the 4-H speakers. And now